Welcome to Presa House Gallery. I'm Andie Flores, and this is a tour of my show, But Always Near Poets, running through January 29th, 2021. This show title comes from a book called The Poetics of Space by a philosopher named Gaston Bacliard. And the quotation that I was really drawn to sort of tie in all the elements of this show was, "We comfort ourselves by reliving memories of protection. Something closed must retain our memories, while leaving them their original value as images. Memories of the outside world will never have the same tonality as those of home, and by recalling these memories, we add to our store of dreams. We are never real historians, but always near poets, and our emotion is perhaps nothing but an expression of a poetry that was lost." In this first video called Cheer Up Charlie, we have a red devil figure, and she's sort of like a siren beckoning to you, except is she there? Is she not? There's some glitch in the video. She's singing to you. And what's interesting to me about this is just the overall process of my self-portraiture and video making. A lot of it happens in public spaces that are otherwise pretty boring. So it's me inserting myself as this otherworldly figure in these spaces. It's just me and the camera for hours at a time, which usually means that, there's some public voyeurism at play, which makes me vulnerable, which makes me a little bit embarrassed. And I think there's a lot of productivity to being vulnerable and embarrassed in public. In this video, there's a nun at the door, and I filmed this using my parents' surveillance camera system that they have at home, where every time someone is like at the front or back porch or moving around in the living room when they're not home, they can get alerts on their phone and sort of like witness all of these goings-ons in their household. And in terms of all the me watching home videos, me being watched. And this one, it's sort of like another form of being surveilled, right? This kind of constant surveillance. But this time it's a wacky nun at the door, and she's trying to sell you some big ideas. And it's up to you if you're gonna answer that dang door or not. In this series of videos, which are displayed on TVs mounted from the ceiling, you as the audience of this show are being watched. The display, the setup of the TVs, to me is reminiscent of the way old clunky security cameras are often clustered. And if you watch long enough, in one of the eyes, there's footage from my great-grandmother holding me shortly after I was born, saying, "Once she opens her eyes, you're going to wish she closed them." So there's this like sort of projection for maybe what my life should be like and what my parents and family will want for me versus how I might turn out. We also have La Llorona, which is a self-portrait I took in 2019 in a sort of in-development space, a neighborhood that was quickly being filled with cookie-cutter houses, and I was sort of latching on to this one bit of land they hadn't touched yet. So again, inserting the sort of like weird, maybe creepy figure of this Tweety bird holding another Tweety bird, showing off her trophies. Again, sort of like, how did she get there? There's like a sadness to it. And again, like, was probably an interesting experience for the construction workers that were around me in the making of this self-portrait. And then we have self-portrait 1, which I took over the summer. And it's me sort of trying to move away from using my body as a storytelling device in a self-portrait. And this is made from a set of happy birthday balloons I got from HEB But instead of happy birthday, of course, they say ha ha pity. And I think it's very fitting for how I was feeling at the time. Like a vulnerable clown. Isn't it funny? There's also a video series, a video duet, if you will, called Romeo and Juliet, one of which plays on the projected wall in the gallery, and one plays on my great-grandfather's old television set. And what's happening in this video is sort of maybe the catalyst for the theme of the whole show, which is little me being brought on stage, which in this case is my great-grandmother's and grandfather's house, being asked to perform something and then being sort of nagged when I don't do it to a certain standard, or when I don't perform it just like I have before. And across the video response is sort of me now, kind of like an exhausted version of that performance. It's clowny, it's tired, it's cyclical, and I don't know, it feels kind of fitting for the performances I've chosen to engage in throughout my adult life as a art maker and experimenter. Then we've also got a video of this green alien otherworldly creature, and she's picking and prodding at herself, and she's posturing her body in ways that feel like kind of impossible. She's not reaching the look she wants. And we get a sense she's taking selfies in the mirror, as so many of us often do. There's this sort of cyclical dissatisfaction of how she is finding her body with each new sort of like twist or shift. Kind of sad. Kind of silly. In the screening room is a selection of videos, TV commercials, sections of TV shows that I picked and chose from years and years of watching old family footage. There's cringy tween moments where I think my brother and sister and I were discovering that we could use the camera as a tool for play and for storytelling, kind of like what we saw on TV. There's local San Antonio commercials and morning talk show footage. There's also my grandmother interacting with the Sony Hi8 camera that is being pointed at her as a tool. There's footage from television shows my sister and I used to stay up late at night to watch after my parents went to sleep. And I think I pulled them all together because we can't ever really like escape all of the media we've consumed, whether it's of ourselves or of stories on TV. It kind of all plays into who we become and who we can choose to become later in life. Thanks for following me around on this tour of my show, but always near poets, at Presa House Gallery up until January 29th. And you can get all the information you need at presahouse.com. I want to say thank you to everyone who made the show possible. Obviously, my family for years and years of surveillance, but also people like Ivan Alonso and Magdia Limon and Rigo at Presa House, everyone who helped me put it up and encouraged me to dive deeper into the abyss of the archive. Hope you enjoyed.